Let's talk about my guy here.
Please,
okay, because I read a report on this on NBCSports.com. Kurt Helin wrote about reporting on a report.
Well,
I guess
I would say
reporting on a report.
Tried to put in context.
Into context about one Lauri Markkanen, the Utah Jazz forward who's having a phenomenal year, 27, 28 points per game. Jazz playing some decent basketball based on the last couple of seasons. I've been saying since the preseason that this guy was going to be available. Now, every time I say something like that or write something like that, I get a little note from somebody in Utah saying, no. We want this guy. This is our guy. We're building around him. We think he can be a part of the next iteration of successful Jazz basketball. And my reaction is oftentimes total BS. Like, I just don't believe it. I can't fathom that a team that is rebuilding around Keontae George and Ace Bailey thinks that 27, 28-year-old Lauri Markkanen is going to be part of this team's long-term future. I don't see it. Not when Lauri Markkanen is playing like a guy who could make a difference on a lot of good teams. All the teams we talked about could use a Lauri Markkanen who has the style of play that is plug and play. He can fit anywhere. You want to plug him into the Bulls rotation? He can do it. The Pistons as an extra shooter? He can do it. This guy is the ultimate fit anywhere type of piece. And if I'm Utah and I know that my top 8 protected draft pick has Oklahoma City's name on it, if I don't get inside that top 8, I am not holding on to Lauri Markkanen. So for me, Grant, he is front and center, the guy I'm watching the closest, no matter what Utah says, publicly, privately. I'm watching that guy till the end.
100%. Yep. And again, as we spoke about John Morant, and we're saying about Lauri now, he's still young enough. He's not necessarily young, but he's young enough. He's under contract that you can build with him. You don't have to be going for it right now to give up assets for him. He is somebody
just started a new contract.
Yeah,
exactly.
Brand new contract. So you have control. Team control is everything you need in this league, right? And so if you're going to give up assets, which I promise you Utah is going to drain every asset you can possibly get out of you, if you're going to get it, Lauri's the type of guy he's going to get a king's ransom. The thing that really sucks for a lot of different parties is Walker Kessler getting hurt.
Yes.
If I'm Utah, I'm like, man, this was my chance to move him because you'd have a restricted free agency coming up. The team can figure out what they want to do. Then I'd move him. And now they're and I feel bad for Walker Kessler, of course, because, he's somebody who's trying to get paid as well. So he's somebody, once that happened too, it's like, I don't know what you're building for in Utah. I think, and for just being honest, I don't necessarily think Keontae George is necessarily part of their future plans either. I don't think
they've worked hard to get Keontae George to this point.
Correct.
They've worked
they
very,
very
hard.
To get him. And I'm not saying a team's going out of the way to get him. I'm just saying I don't know if they're necessarily in love with anyone right now to the point where they're like just so untouchable. I think right now they're just trying to figure out how do we build through the draft over the next few years. And the guys that have to be moved in order to do so, that's the sense I'm getting about the Utah Jazz.
Well, they still need that tentpole player, the franchise player. It's why they took the swing on Ace Bailey, because at that point he was the one guy that had that potential. They still need that guy. I can't fathom them doing everything they can to not put themselves in position to draft that guy. Like, I'm not a draft Nick, but every time I talk to one of these college scouts, they're telling me this is one of the deepest drafts in years, especially at the top.
Yes.
Like 3 or 4 guys could be the number 1 pick in this year's draft, and 3 or 4 guys could turn out to be number 1 pick types of talent. So if I'm the Jazz, I want in on that.
Exactly. I was at Hoop Summit last year and came away thinking everybody likes to compare Cam Boozer to Paolo Banchero a lot. He's kind of like a young Kevin Love to me, like a little bit that kind of game. And like if you can get that, and he was not like AJ's just freakishly athletic and impressive, and he's not even the guy on top of most draft boards. This is such a good draft that Utah has to go for it. It's unlike Dallas when we were talking about, like, Dallas is also trying to get a new arena built. Teams don't tank when they're trying to get a new arena built. It doesn't go over well when you're trying to get voter approval for something. That's going to be different in Utah, where as disappointed as they were in the draft last year and the way that worked out, they realize, I think, exactly what you said. They don't have a Flag. They don't have a Wemby. They don't have a whoever else you're going to call the anchor of a team.
Not for lack of effort.
No, but they've got to go get one. And again, this draft is loaded at the top, and maybe you get one, and maybe you get enough. Bailey develops, and you draft one of the top 4 or 5. You get Brown out of Louisville, who I like a lot. You get one of those guys, suddenly maybe you start to have enough.
Yeah, and everything you're saying about the draft. A good team looks many years in advance of who are the draft classes coming up. And a lot of times draft classes are really hyped up, and then it's like, all right, they didn't end up panning out to be that good, right? That was, this draft class that just happened was really hyped up for a couple of years, right? The Ace Bailey and those names were really hyped up for years. And I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player. I think there are going to be really good players, including Ace could end up being a really good player as well. But this is a draft class that has been looked at for a few years now in advance and said, if you can get a top pick, still the Pelicans and the Hawks making that trade, it haunts my dreams. Like it haunts me. Why did that call happen when I was? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm happy for everyone in Atlanta that gets to watch that, watch their pick just sit there. But you try to acquire the picks in the years that you want, and people have been trying to acquire picks in this draft for a couple of years now, and most teams have held on to it and don't want to give that away. And there's a reason why it's top 8 protected with the Utah Jazz, because they know that they need to get into this draft at the top, and they will make sure they do it.
This would be to put a button on it, this would be my suggestion to Utah. In Orlando, sit down with the Pistons. Justin Zanuck, the Ainges, Trajan Langdon, your staff out there. Sit down with the Pistons and have a real conversation here. Like, stop talking about Oscar Thompson. You're not going to get him. You're not trading Oscar Thompson. Start talking more about Jaden Ivey. Start talking more about draft picks. Start talking about finding a way to make the salaries work, because that's a problem, because $46 million per year for Lauri Markkanen is a big number. But those two, to me, need to get together.
Tobias Harris and Karis LeVert.
There you go. And some draft, and some good draft capital. And hey, maybe you can flip Karis LeVert for something else down the line. He's a solid rotation player. Maybe you need that. Tobias Harris, good locker room guy. Now you got two of them. You got Kevin Love and Tobias Harris. Great locker room guys to help these young guys grow. But every time I see, hear, read something about Lauri Markkanen staying in Utah, I just want to pull my hair out. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe it.
You know what also has bothered me? I just want to see him on a competitive team.
Yes.
As a basketball fan.
How good was he with Finland?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
as a basketball fan, there's so many fans in this league that haven't really gotten a chance to watch Lauri Markkanen compete at a high level unless you've watched Finland. So I want to see a playoff run where Lauri Markkanen's going off and doing the thing, and everyone goes, wait, that's the guy everyone's been talking about this whole time? Yes, I want to see that. I'm not saying he's a superstar. What I'm saying is
number 2.
He's a winning piece to a team that's trying to win a championship. That's what matters, right? And so let's see it. I want to see it. I just want to see it.
Think Cade Cunningham couldn't use a guy like that on the wing, a multi-positional big.
A secondary shot creator that they need.
I love that fit. It's almost too good that it's not going to happen. Because it's too good. Exactly. And you know who would have been? It would have been great 2 years ago when the Warriors tried to trade for him.
Yes.
Could he have been a better fit next to those guys?
I wonder who regrets that more at this point, because the Jazz had to pay Markkanen, and look, he's fine. He's still tradable. The Warriors could probably have used.
Yeah, there's certain teams that he just works so well for. And I mean, the trade machines will be kicking, but again, I will remind everyone that majority of the teams that you think he'll fit for will not work. He makes way too much money, and the aprons don't let it happen. And don't only just think about this year, think about how his contract will go up in the future. And he's going to get his all NBA teams if he plays 65 games, and how everything gets skewed and everything changes. And just play with the trade machine a little bit.
What's the Finnish community look like in Detroit? What do we think about that?